Bitch, I don't play. I'm petty and I'm known to throw shade. Hating a hoe, please just go. Don't get cute, just walk away. Girl, bye, bitch, listen, fuck you. Bitch, listen, fuck you. Bitch.
Family, it's been run by Ziggy and Sedella, the daughter, not the mother. Why would they lie?
We had what has come to be known as the Black Jewish Alliance. This group of people used the situation in the South to radicalize black people, to turn them into the revolutionary avant-garde that was intended to overthrow the government of the United States. Culmination of this was the Civil Rights Movement. The government got involved and began funding violent groups. Sergeant Shriver, head of one of the government offices of the War on Poverty, gave $1 million to a gang in Chicago known as the Blackstone Rangers. What you have is the rise of this revolutionary spirit among the black groups spread out throughout the black community.
1967, Harold Cruz, professor of black studies at the University of Michigan, writes a book called The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual, in which he recounts his experience as a communist in Harlem. And he says basically the Jews used us.
FBI spends a lot of time spying on black Americans. The FBI released a new trove of documents relating to its surveillance of black activists. They're mostly redacted. This coming from the Intercept. 2019. You probably thought I was talking like 1960, back in the COINTELPRO heyday. Probably still in the heyday, but back when they was infiltrating the Black Panthers and the Civil Rights Movement and stuff. Like, no, this is 2019. I mean, I guess we kind of knew that. Some of us more than others. I guess the question is what to do about it, how to respond. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe.
How the FBI used thousands of informants to infiltrate the black community. 66 years prior to the Declaration of Independence, the Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710 was enacted in colonial Virginia. This law provided for freeing a slave for good deeds and could be granted to a slave who informed or snitched on a fellow slave who was planning a slave rebellion or to run away. The slave rebellions of Denmark Vesey and Nat Turner were thwarted by infiltrators. Almost every black social movement since then has been infiltrated and negatively impacted by the use of informants. The ghetto
and work west. What groups did you infiltrate in New York?
In New York, it was the Black Panther Party, Queens section.
How far into the organization did you get, and how'd you do it?
What I did was I was a member of the party already in the California area. All I did was travel up and say I was checking out the party in the Queens area. What happened was, though, I only stayed with that assignment for, 2.5 days. We found out later, we found out then that it was infiltrated heavily by the New York Police Department.
And there was no need for your services?
There was no need for my services.
Let's go back to the 60s. In the first interview, you touched on the fact that you were involved in some way in the robbery of arms from the armory, weapons from the armory.
Yes.
Give us the details and what arms.
Oh, they worked out the whole thing. They made sure that that there were no guards, except for, I think it was there one guard? I think there was one. No, there wasn't. There wasn't anybody, as a matter of fact. That was the thing that kind of made me nervous about the whole thing, because I said, damn, you're supposed to have it looks kind of phony when you go to an armory on a military base. No doubt. They were in 81. Nothing had been tampered with them.
The FBI was investigating Aretha Franklin for 40 years because nothing scares the United States government more than a black person asking for respect. That's why Aretha Franklin said R-E-S-P-C-T in the chorus instead of saying respect. She was hoping the FBI would miss it. But unfortunately, the song was way too good and they listened to the whole thing. Anyway, how should you feel about the FBI being racist? Not surprised.
You're going to learn today, family. Black FBI spy exposes how the FBI infiltrated black organizations and helped destabilize them. This is part one of a two-part series, family. Take a listen.
In the summer of 1978, I interviewed a man who worked as an informer for the FBI during the 1960s. His name is Darfard Perry, also known as Ed Riggs, also known as Bill Perry, also known as Othello.
All these names.
Government agents or agencies knew that these assassinations were brewing and either participated in them or allowed them to take place.
It would behoove black people, it would behoove all people, really, to question so-called the cut and dry one lone assassin theory. The Bureau and other intelligence agencies are very good at conspiracies. They are very good at setting people up to be killed. They are very good at making innuendos so the person will be killed. They have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
The King family had been spied on for 3 generations, and MLK, he was only 18 when he first got a file opened on him, but it all started with A.D. Williams, and A.D. Williams was the grandfather of MLK. A.D. Williams was also the NAACP president of the Atlanta chapter. And so in 1917, after Ralph Van Diemen opened up the Military Intelligence Division to spy on black folk, A.D. Williams was one of his first subjects, and this program had lasted for more than 30 years. Now, Ralph Van Diemen, he was really swinging for the fences trying to catch one who was slipping. So he was going so hard that he used one of the NAACP founders to spy on black folk, and that founder's name, Joel Spingarn. Van Diemen, he said, can't stop, won't stop, so he grabbed Booker T. Washington, homie, to be his spy, his successor, the second president of Tuskegee Institute, and also the same guy who signed.
Y'all remember when the BLM protests were happening and people were like, whoa, why are black people so aggressive?
Look at these.
The FBI hired an informant to infiltrate the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests, instigate.
Evidence has emerged that the FBI played a direct role in infiltrating racial justice protests after the police killing of George Floyd in 2020. A new podcast out today called Alphabet Boys documents how the FBI paid an informant at least $20,000 to infiltrate and spy on activist groups in Denver, Colorado. The informant also encouraged activists to purchase guns and commit violence. This is the trailer to Alphabet Boys.
The summer of 2020.
I know, I'm going to go get my gas mask.
Millions protested for racial justice across the country, with some of these protests turning violent.
Over the heads of the two!
That summer, it felt like history in the making. Big changes were coming. And then, the protests just stopped. There were these rumors that government agents had infiltrated the movement, pushing it toward collapse. It sounded paranoid, right? But you know what?
Okay, it is August 28th, 2020 at approximately.
Evidence has emerged.
54-year-old William McDonald was placed in.
Video is long, but the message is worth it.
Black Messiah. Judas and the Black Messiah was the true story of the origin of COINTELPRO, the FBI's counterintelligence program which seeked to prevent unity, stability, and economic growth in the lower class, but mainly black communities. These are the 5 methods used under COINTELPRO. Pause here to read. The media is quick to show looting in Chicago, corruption in Africa, and try to portray these things as organic. But what the media conveniently leaves out is the FBI, CIA, NSA, and SAM are intentionally destabilizing these communities on the orders of the U.S. government. They say Chicago is leaderless, and the Congo is ungovernable. But they don't say how they murdered Hampton in cold blood or dismembered Lumumba's body, then dissolved in acid. But that was years ago. The FBI supports BLM and Malcolm X now. Less than 5 years ago, the FBI killed Darren Seals, a key figure in the movement in Ferguson. The FBI supporting BLM is a Machiavellian gift. In fact, the whole BLM movement is Machiavellian. But that's a topic for another day. Let's take a look at the things FBI, SAMR, and CIA have done in real life. Number one, the CIA pushed snow to black and impoverished neighborhoods to raise money to overthrow a Nicaraguan leader who didn't want his country to be exploited by U.S. corporations. When the journalist Gary Webb uncovered this, he was found dead with 2 shots to the back of the head. The media labeled his death as suicide. Number two.
First time I was visited by the FBI, that was because of information that I was posting on Facebook about the White House in 9/11. They came, pulled up to the house, knocked on the door, flashed a magnificent badge. I said, wow, you have a pretty nice budget.
Coalition of militant black nationalist groups prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Prevent the militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to the community. A final goal should be to prevent the long-range growth of militant black nationalist organizations, especially amongst the youth. So they are targeting the youth.
Okay, we got Judge Joe Brown, cold-blooded Freemason, Moore. Just in case you thought I was, Moore and Freemason, Judge Joe Brown. You got Fannie Willis and Kamala Harris, AKAs. Okay, the light skins, the Caribbeans. See, the Caribbeans in on this act too, don't get it twisted. Right, the civil rights movement. You know what I mean? It's Freemasonic. The black conscious community worships the devil. This is evident through Maya Angelou. Still I rise like the phoenix, like the satanic thunderbird. There's another image to show you the divine 9 Greek Boule society at the bottom. It say for a Mason and Eastern Stars Light, or our 9 kids would have never had the chance to grow like they did. So they calling them their kids right in their face, right? Look at it say Abdullah L. Bay, Mason, Eastern Stars. You never know who in the clique, right? You never know who in the clique. Stephen A. Smith, cold-blooded Freemason. That's probably Stephen A. right there. I want to be a coon when I grow up. I want to be a coon when I grow up. Then it's Greek, so you got to let the troglodytes in. You got to let the crackers in. Okay? So as we come into knowledge of self, we might as well come into the knowledge to know that self. The average African knowledge of white supremacy, only been blue-eyed, white, human, or mute. Okay, you can read that. But it say Moses and was the first sellouts of the African youth, right? Pause and get a load of that. Fact check the Black Society of Elites called Boule. Right, if you heard, you probably because it's by design. Doctors, dentists. All right, so that's a little Henry Menton in them. the black Boule, the police chief, and soror, right? Like horror, whore, right? That's all of them throwing up Illuminati hand signs, right? Notice the crest always look, the crest give it away. Whenever you see that crest, you're dealing with some demonic shield. Them crests always give it away. Okay, these are the boys. These are the head boys. All fair-skinned, slick-haired, light-skinned, half troglodytes looking. Sigma Pi Phi. An article below shows Archon of Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, author of Grand Jury, the history of Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. Outline the oldest Greek fraternity. 1904, fraternity known as the Boule, which ancient Greece means council of the chiefs. Dr. King was Boule. He was Alpha Phi Alpha. Remember the movie School Days? That blindfold is the Masonic hoodwink. Do not use the method of deception, simply a symbolic or visual method of covering the eyes. Initiate candidates, acquiring knowledge from darkness to light. Right? The Masonic hoodwink. So all these Greek Boule dudes done went through the Masonic hoodwink. So say when you realize it's a psyop, right? When you realize the Rothschilds funded MLK civil rights movement, you begin to get a glimpse of the whole social science. Experiment, domination, power and control rarely gained through war. Recognize the distraction. Look at Kevin Samuels on the left, A Kappa, if you ain't know. Right? When you realize the Rothschilds founded MLK movement, you begin to get a glimpse of the whole social science experiment. Is anybody paying attention? The Greek Boule is Freemasonry. This is the lowest level of the black nobility, right? They in between the real black nobility, the white Freemasons, and the Muslim Freemasons. Then you got these guys, which they really connected to the black nobility, but they got to put them at the bottom of the totem pole to trick you out, right? The Kings and Rothschilds, in case you ain't know who them people was in the picture, right? Now that just stamped, signed, sealed, delivered. Shout out to Stevie Wonder, I'm yours. Signed, sealed, delivered. By the principal, strong Masonic influence. By the principal, John Heath was not a Mason. Another founder, Thomas Smith, was. Smith belonged to the lodge, founding member of Phi Beta Kappa. Through the next 5 years, members would be raised as Master Masons. Above dozens of subsequent 50 members would be associated with both organizations over the years. Freemasonry and the develop of Greek letter fraternities. Masonic symbolism philosophy had a strong early development on many of the so-called Greek letter organizations commonly seen accepted college campuses throughout the United States. Okay? But in many cases, the relationship between Freemasonry and college fraternal organizations are strong and even enduring. Revolutionary War, college fraternities had a member, 1776. We're talking about Yale, Princeton, New Jersey, right? The fraternity support, fidelity, scholarship, blah, blah, blah. Although not sanctioned by or directly controlled the Freemasonry, Phi Beta Kappa patterned its initiations, oath, modes, and proliferation after those of Freemason, Voorhees. 2 of the founding members and a total of 10 members of Phi Beta Kappa were Freemasons. Right? Similarities between Phi Beta Kappa and Freemasonry are easily seen. First, both organizations held the meetings within a shroud of secrecy. Freemasonry and Phi Beta Kappa both required new initiatives to take voluntary oaths of fidelity. Right? The oath of Phi Beta Kappa mentioned the holy evangelist of Almighty God and the Supreme Being. Right? Kind of that Christ consciousness. First, Greek letter college fraternity is influenced heavily by Freemasonry and holds many of its Freemason practice and ideals. Phi Beta Kappa, the first Greek letter. Okay? They letting you know, heavy. the nation's oldest academic honor society. Right? Y'all remember A Different World on the college campus? Another source which many authorities believe inspired the structure and method of Phi Beta Kappa was Freemasonry. Although the origins of Freemasonry is highly debated. What is it to debate? One interpretation suggests that Freemasons are a latter-day effort to revive the methods and approach of the ancient mysteries. Like a candidate for initiation, the Freemasons passing through the elaborate ceremonies where certain signs and symbols are revealed. They doing all that in 5%, NOI, Morrison, doing all that. They're all the same. Phi Beta and original Constitution drew inspiration from the mysteries, Knights Templars, and the Freemasons. Come on now, flat out. Initiation, the central theme in all these institutions, the concept of initiation. The initiate refers to the beginning of the context amidst the fraternal society and esoteric rituals. Initiation is a process whereby the participant is exposed to. All right, let's just keep it moving. All right, this is a magazine I found, Scottish Rite magazine. Look what it say: Freemasonry and the development of Greek letter fraternities. Right, they spell it out. Look at the little sign at the bottom. Like you know it when you see it. Right, this is the cover of the magazine. Okay, Alpha Phi Alpha, this Dr. King one. Right, Prince Hall Mason from Lexington. Principal founder Charles Poindexter met with 15 students, which included the Prince Hall Mason, right, who was also active in Masonic circles, also as an employee of Beta Phi. But, the fingerprints, they all over this, right? And you got the founders of Dr. King, where 2 of the 7 were confirmed. Just because we ain't confirmed you don't mean you wasn't a secret. In order to form an organization that developed leaders and promoted brotherhood, along with the advocacy for social issues throughout the community. This is why I'm saying the black conscious community worships Satan, right? First, the organization held its first initiation in the Masonic Lodge of Ithaca, New York. Right, the fraternity also uses many Egyptian themes such as the Great Sphinx, right, the regalia and symbols. The fraternity has over 400, you feel me? I ain't even gonna say that, you know how they strike me down. This one, a Prince Hall from Lexington, Kentucky, his dad was the Grand Master of several lodges. That's one of the founders, right? Let's get to it. This is another one, George Biddle Gallaty, very active in Masonic circles. He served the first master on the Mount Moriah Lodge, number 25 in Troy, District Grand Mason in the Lodge up New York, 33rd in Utica Consistency. How the breakdown go? European organization that black men in this country were assimilated into by European influence. It's Greek, right? That's self-explanatory. So you sweeping the floor for the Greek boy, right? He put you on to how to do this gay Boule thing, the fraternity thing, right? You still sweeping the floor. William and Mary College doing blackface, home of the first Greek fraternity, Phi Beta Kappa, right? William and Mary. This is what they thought of you. Y'all wanted to get down with the Greeks, and this is what they thought of you at William and Mary. This is HBCU, y'all. This is HBCU, by the way. His dream and ambition were to organize a Greek letter fraternities for his members to be selected on the basis of brains alone, but in addition, culture, fellowship, blah, 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 blah. Henry Minton, in his own words, right? Minton wanted to create an organization that would partake, in his own words, of the tenets of the Skull and Bones at Yale and Phi Beta Kappa. So he telling you this straight out of Skull and Bones. Did you know that Alpha's first initiated was done in the Masonic Hall? You wouldn't have been able to get up in there if you wasn't getting down with the get down. And let's not forget that get down means they play with your back door. You getting ran up in. Let's not play games. In fact, the organization held its first initiation at the Masonic Lodge of Ithaca. Right? You got one prominent member of the Alpha Phi was Charles Wesley. You know, I'm sure he was into it. You know what I mean? They telling you that they associated with this Egypt. Egypt was in the Freemasonry too. They was cross-dressing and inbreeding and yeah, go back and check the channel. This is Freemasonry, incest. Let's get to in Ithaca. The hall served 3 different organizations. Right? The Ithaca chapter of the Prince Halls, the Grand Union Order of the Odd Fellows, and the Red Men's Lodge. Like, it's obvious. So when you ask what is the Boule is the 3rd level. You got the black nobility, you got the Queen of England, Freemasonry and them, then you got the Boule, the answer to the Queen, to make you think it's no black nobility at the top. Right? The fraternity also uses many Egyptian things like the Great Sphinx. Right? So this goes to show that whatever they doing, the Egyptians was doing. Right? So all that, hazing, the Egyptian mystery schools was basically the Greek Boule. The Greek got it from Egypt, and now these HBCU Oreos is getting it from Greek. Right? You're not even African. Africa got secret societies. I'm gonna drop that next. I'm gonna show y'all a list of just some African secret societies. That's what I'm gonna do today. Don't think that this is the thing. The cracker got it from us. We had ancient secret societies, right? The Oath of Secrecy, right? Oath of Alliance, Oath of Allegiance. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments though, man. The Boule is the black conscious community worshiping the devil. Thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. Share the video, y'all. Share the video for me. Peace and love, blessings, praise to the Most High.